Bay Park development, problem or progress? My name is Chris Astolero with Exchange Resources. Welcome to LEARNin Local Live. All right, welcome to the show, everybody. How's everybody doing this beautiful day? A couple of days of rain, and now it's sunny and beautiful. How's everybody doing? Casey, welcome. Tracy, Martin, how's everybody feeling today?
Doing awesome. Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Making deals happen, closing deals, helping buyers and sellers, looking for more deals.
Driving up and down San Diego.
Yep. Everybody feeling great?
Oh, yeah. What a great way to cap off the week and put more deals together, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Casey, this is going to be the first time for you on the show. So great to have you, especially with your knowledge and insight on all things real estate.
Yeah.
And Martin, thank you for bringing in the
happy to be here, guys.
Thanks for having me back.
Yep, absolutely. So we've got a great show for you today. We've got this interesting topic in Bay Park that we're going to discuss. Is it progress or is it a problem? I think it's probably going to be both, depending upon your perspective. We've got off-market deals that we're going to be presenting through Martin. And then Tracy Hassey is going to present a lot of these networking opportunities that a lot of our viewers can actually attend to get more insight and more tools and knowledge on how to do their real estate projects or their investments. So what is LEARNin Local Live? LEARNin Local Live is a live platform. So please make sure to comment and ask questions below throughout the entire show, because we want you to be a part of the community and it's more engaging, and all these questions are going to bring out more information for you to benefit from. We also present off-market deals. We present networking opportunities, but more importantly, we're here to educate, empower, and inspire you to be successful in real estate. We want you to avoid the pitfalls and the costly mistakes that happens during purchasing the most expensive asset that you've ever purchased. So we want you to be able to be successful in these investments, and we're here to show you that. This is not only for investors, it's not only for realtors, it's for everybody who's curious about what's going on in the real estate market in San Diego right now. So don't believe everything you hear or read on the internet. We're here to give you all that information. You may be wondering, how do we do all of this? How do we put all this together? Well, we connect, we collaborate, and we create content from our subject matter experts. All the realtors, the investors, the contractors, appraisers, escrow, who are here day in and day out, making deals happen, representing sellers, representing buyers. And we're here to give you all the information, all their experience right here. We present real people, real deals in real time. All right. Well, welcome to the show. Tracy, you've been here countless times. What's been your experience so far with LEARNin Local Live?
Oh my gosh, Chris, the host with the most, king of 1031s. You know, I am a super connector, so I love connecting with leaders in the industry, influencers, to really get the true pulse on what is happening in the market. And so that's the most fun for me. And then when we get to meet up in person, which I'm going to be talking about the events, you're going to want to take notes because you get to meet all of us. And plus, you know, if you're interested, join us. So that's what I'm most excited about, Chris. So thank you for doing such a great job, and super excited to be here with Martin and Casey and all the other special guests on the show today.
Fantastic. And Martin, you've been here from the very beginning, presenting all these amazing off-market deals that a lot of our viewers can actually write offers on. So tell me about your experience with LEARNin Local Live.
It's been awesome. Ever since I met Ruben a few months ago, I think it's been 6 months now that I met him up on the university club, just up in the top floor. I just randomly went up to him and was like, hey, I'm looking for a lender. How can you help me out? And then from there, transitioned to being on the show every time and being able to send my deals over. But the reason I keep coming back is I keep meeting new service providers that bring so much value to myself and everybody around me, and just surrounding myself with people who know more than me and are able to keep showing me more and more is kind of the value that I feel like the show keeps bringing to me, at least. So I love being here. I love coming every week. So super excited to keep doing this.
Great. Thank you so much, Martin. And then Casey, we've met at the University Club. We were a part of the real estate committee together, and you've done so many different projects. How does it feel to be on your first show with LEARNin Local Live?
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. So really appreciate the invitation. I love what you guys are building and the value that you're bringing to San Diego overall. So just looking to add any value that I can bring to both you guys and to all of our viewers.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all so much for being here today. We have an exciting show for you today. And so without further ado, let's kick off the first segment of our show and meet our local influencers. And the reason why we bring our local influencers on this show is because they're here and they're live and they're not pre-recorded, and you can actually reach out to them by commenting or sending out questions or reaching out to them at the end of the show. These are the people you want to connect with so that they can help you with all of your real estate transactions. So if you're faced with a lot of different things that are happening in real estate, this is the show to go to, because San Diego's LEARNin Local Live is the only show in San Diego that highlights these professionals and that provides content for all of you. My name is Chris Astolero with Exchange Resources, and we facilitate 1031 tax-deferred exchanges. If you're an investor that is wanting to sell your investment property, but you have a huge tax consequence, on a $1 million gain, that's about $300,000 to $400,000 in taxes that you're potentially going to pay. So doing a 1031 exchange will actually help you defer those capital gains taxes so that we can roll it into more properties so that you can create more wealth, more cash flow, a higher return, and also leave a legacy for your family. Now, I'm so grateful to be on this show. They highlight me as the 1031 exchange expert in San Diego. And if you want to be highlighted on the show as a subject matter expert, they can do it for you too. All you have to do is send us an email, text us, call us, and one of our producers will connect with you and show you how to become a part of this amazing and growing community. And I'm a busy professional. I can't create content for myself. It's too difficult for me. And so LEARNin Local Live creates all these contents for me. This is what they can do for you. Lived in the property for at least 2 years, right? And if they sell it, they have the 121 tax exclusion, right? It's either 250,000 or 500,000. But listen to this: if they turn it into a rental property, they've lived in it for 2 years, they turn it into a rental for 2 years, and before year 5, they turn around and sell it. Guess what? They have the benefit of both the 121 tax exclusion, the $500,000, and let's say it's a $1.5 million property that they're selling. First $500,000 of that $1.5 million is tax-free, and the other $1 million, they can roll it into other properties, no tax. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. LEARNin Local Live provides all this content. It's so great. It's amazing. We want to get to know all of you, our local influencers, our subject matter experts. So please introduce yourself, your name, your company, and tell us a little bit about you. Tracy.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. So once again, Tracy Hassey, super connector with Ticor Escrow Services. And, you know, when it comes to escrow is mission critical to take your deal to the close, to the finish line. So I have a question for you. How are you safeguarding your real estate deals? How are you protecting your clients' money and information and your commission from cyber fraud? Let's talk, let's connect, because Ticor Escrow Services, we are a Fortune 300 company. We are the leaders at safeguarding your real estate deals. So I'm here for you, here for you as a resource, and cheers to your success. Enjoy the show.
All right, Nicole.
Hi guys, Nicole Turner. I am here at Sell State Next Gen Realty. I'm the broker owner here. My superpower, taking those clients' stresses and turning them into absolute successes in 2025, and looking forward to what we have here today to bring to the consumers.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nicole. Martin.
Hey guys, are you looking for any off-market deals in the San Diego and North County area? Look no further than RMS Real Estate Investments. My name is Martin Magana, and here at RMS, we're kind of changing the name of the game. The typical wholesaling environment is seen as shady, unethical, untransparent. We're doing things differently. We're kind of flipping the script. I'm a licensed agent. Everyone in my company has their real estate license. We operate at a higher level of transparency. We keep our fees and our deals super lean so that we can pass on all of that profit to our investors, our end buyers, and our agents alike. So looking for any deals, reach out. And Martin Magana, RMS Real Estate.
Perfect. Casey.
What's up, San Diego? My name is Casey Clayton. I'm with CMG Home Loans, and I'm your local lending expert. My background in investing and lending, combined with the product set that is available to me, CMG Home Loans and CMG Financial, allows me to help everyone from your first-time home buyer to your seasoned real estate investor looking to build their portfolio. So wherever you fall on that spectrum, I'm here to assist. With rates falling right now, there's no better time to get into your first deal or your next deal. So reach out to me with any questions, and I'm here to help.
Fantastic. Thank you, Casey. And Mike, last but not least.
Yes, happy Friday, San Diego. It's your friend, Mike Harris, aka Make a Move Mike. I work for Renovate San Diego, looking to build relationships with wholesalers like Martin and other industry professionals in the real estate. We're looking to be known as your favorite as-is cash buyer, also an agent with Premier Agency Real Estate. So if you have a buyer or a seller who's out there looking to make their next move a great move, please don't forget about Make a Move Mike and keep me in mind.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being on the show. We are so grateful to have you here at LEARNin Local Live, for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Professionals, I know you've got a lot of transactions, a lot of things happening today. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. Super excited to dive in to the next segment of our show, our LEARNin Local Insights.
Hey guys, welcome to LEARNin Local Live's Insight section. Before we get started, I do want to thank our sponsor, Farmers Insurance.
My name is Patrick Ono. I'm a Farmers Insurance agent. I've got many years of insurance and financial services background. And what I can bring to the table is knowledge. The insurance industry has been just as volatile. Things that you thought were normal just a few years ago are no longer normal. Having someone that's on your side with the knowledge and background and able to help, that's what I'm here for. We're here to educate and empower. Hopefully I can bring some of that to you and some of that to the group.
All right. Thank you again, Farmers Insurance. We really appreciate your support here on the show. And as we go into this section, we know there's a lot of fake news out there. You guys are hearing a lot of things in the media. So what we like to do is take hot topics and articles that everyone is hearing about and bring in local experts to give our insights on what's really happening in San Diego. Today, we are going to be talking about a development project in Bayho, where someone bought a single family home property and is looking to develop it into 12 units. And then there is the side of the homeowners in the community, and then the side of the city council and how we're trying to build more housing here in San Diego.
Perfect. This is a great article. I think everybody should be aware of what's going on in their neighborhood, Casey. And like you said, it's either progress or a problem, depending upon your perspective. Now, from an investor's perspective, a single family home can be turned into a 12-unit apartment complex now, right? However, the density of the population within that community is going to increase, which is going to cause issues with parking and they're allowing these developments to be built without having to build parking spaces because they're within proximity to different transportation, the train, all these different types of transportation, so they're not requiring it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about it on an investment perspective. First, it definitely benefits the investor, right, Casey?
Yeah, 100%. One of the things they mentioned in the article that really caught my attention is that they feel San Diego is more focused on building up rather than building out. And when you think of that from an investor's perspective, a lot of the value in San Diego, the closer you get to the beach, the more value you have, right? Price per square foot goes up, rental rates go up. So if I'm a developer and my construction costs are going to be pretty similar, whether I'm building along the 15 freeway or I'm building along the 5 freeway, maybe a little bit of an adjustment for quality of materials for the interior of the unit, but overall construction costs are going to be fairly similar across the county. If I can get more bang for my buck, being closer to the 5 and better rents, then as a developer, it just makes more sense for me to be there.
Thank you so much, Casey. Mike, what's your perspective on these developments in Bay Park in that area?
From my perspective it's a Bay Park is a one of a kind neighborhood. I mean, you're close to the beach, you have amazing views, but there still remains the same where there's a need of housing due to a lack of housing, and you can say affordable housing as well. I think it's a step in the right direction. However, I think more should be taken into consideration with, as you mentioned, the parking issues or the parking challenges, I should say, and things of that nature. How's that affecting those residents who will be future tenants of this new apartment complex?
Yeah, and we definitely have a crisis in San Diego with housing. And I guess this is a way for the city to solve that problem by allowing these homeowners to create more units within the community. But it's definitely going to, cause a lot of issues. Nicole, what's your take on it?
I look at kind of it as monopoly. I mean, turning a single family house into multi-units, it brings down the risk for an investor at a very high level. Your costs to construct are going to be less, and the income that can be produced with our housing demand is great. So in that perspective, I think it's a great thing. Honestly, when you're at other cities that are major, LA, New York, places like that, they're so differently developed than here in San Diego County. And I think the biggest adjustment we have is going to be to have our population understand it's needed. Housing has been critically short for a really long time, and we haven't been building at a rate to support it for a really long time. And so I look at it as a positive in a lot of directions, a lot of adjustment as well. But truly, as far as them being occupied or sitting vacant, I think that our investors who are building, you see building going on everywhere. So I think we have a great ability to be able to fill these units, get people into them. And if you've ever been someone out there looking for a rental, or you've been looking for a place to buy, you just understand the housing shortage a little bit better than somebody that hasn't done that yet. So yes, messes are something that we always clean up. And I have no doubt there's going to be things that we didn't think of that we're going to run into ahead. But again, I think it's a big positive for the building that we have here going on in our county.
Yep, thank you so much. And then we had a comment from Mr. Carlsbad, John and Agnos, that these properties are going up pretty fast. However, let's put a spin on it. Tracy, what if you were a homeowner in that neighborhood and you saw this 4-story apartment going up right next to your house? How would you feel?
I'd be totally bummed. I'd be pissed. I mean, I can relate to how the neighbors are feeling. It's like, because everybody's going to be parking in front of their house now, right? It's like that parking is going to be, the neighborhood is going to be infiltrated with people parking in the area. But the bigger picture really is it's housing incentives versus neighborhood character. And this isn't an isolated project. There are hundreds of similar developments happening in San Diego due to these incentives passed by the city council in the last 5 years. This one just seems to be the one cropping its head. I remember several years ago hearing about this, and we thought, oh my God, that's crazy. That will never happen. Well, here we are. So these programs were meant to help combat the housing crisis, but really have triggered a backlash in the established communities, and that probably will continue. So it will be our job and your job as leaders in the field to really help people work through these challenging times.
So
It actually challenging for the residents and probably really profitable for the investors.
Of course.
So it's that
It's a balancing act, right, Tracy?
Yeah.
So
totally.
thank you for that insight. Casey, do you feel that a lot of these programs have been abused because the city is allowing it, and more investors are taking on this opportunity, taking advantage of it? But do you think that these programs are being abused, and what could be done to circumvent it, to slow it down a little bit?
Yeah, I don't like using the word abused, right? If this is an available program and I'm an investor, I'm going to take advantage of what's available to me as long as I'm going through all the proper channels, which I think the bigger issue is maybe the proper channels need to be a little bit more robust. I understand the perspective of being able to go through permitting and throw up a building and not even giving any disclosure to your neighbors could be an issue, especially if I'm right behind that property and I have a very nice view. If you're putting up a 4-story building and my view's going away, I definitely need to know about that in advance. So I think this goes kind of back to city council and just more robust pre-planning that goes into it before these projects get approved and investors are able to break ground. But, you know, if the investors are playing by the rules, they're definitely not abusing anything. They are doing what's best for them. And I think one other thing that gets lost, we talk so much about investors. When we think about your first-time home buyer or just home buyers in general in San Diego County, one of the biggest issues I see with my clients is home affordability. So these programs are actually great ways to get people into homes using almost like a house hacking strategy where they can buy a home as their primary residence and use these same incentive programs to put up a couple ADUs in the backyard and offset their mortgage payment with these. So there are benefits across the board. It just depends on how you view them and how you're utilizing them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that insight, Casey. So how does this affect the market when you're actually trying to sell a home that's right next to one of these properties that are 4 stories high that it's just been built? Mike, do you think it's an opportunity to be able to sell that property a little bit faster because of the incentives of actually being allowed to tear it down and build more units on it?
I definitely think it's an opportunity to sell that property, in an expedited fashion. One, because you're going to get all of the attention of the investors in the area and outside of San Diego. So it's going to drive attention to that one lot. And, everyone's probably going to be trying to outbid one another just so they can have the opportunity to make a great sound investment in a great neighborhood.
Absolutely. So these are all great insights. Nicole, what do you think about the parking situation, though? I mean, a lot of these units are being built because they're close to public transportation. So how is that parking issue going to affect that neighborhood?
But I think that's where we're going to see the shift, right? So a lot of these areas that we're talking about are already urban, meaning that they're areas that are already busy, high transit, commercials close. These are not like the quiet neighborhoods that are suburban that are being touched. So when we look at along those trolley lines or by those bus lines, there's a lot of people that are moving to our county or even desire to live in our county from other major cities that enjoy being able to just walk outside and hop on the trolley as their daily way of transit. So I do see an adjustment, but I don't see it fully as a negative in these areas that have been opened up to do this yet. I think that truly as a population, 4 million population here in our county and continuing to grow, something has to be done to be able to help our housing. Obviously in my world, I'm like, okay, so if you own that house, the things that I actually think about are where the messes will be in 5 years. So now I had that single family home and now I built a 6-unit apartment complex behind it. And what I didn't realize is I just kicked myself out of reselling it with only residential financing available. And now I'm actually in a commercial space. So I see a lot of non-disclosure messes going on in the next 5 years of like, well, I didn't know that. And until financing catches up to absorb what we're doing, even like the ADUs that are being built, right? You have an ADU in your backyard and you are trying to sell that shell, but you can't. So you have to put a land lease on it, right? Because you're literally a cash sale. And all of us here know that if we're a cash only sale, what happens? Your price goes down. So in my world, it's just strategically advising and that empowerment to the person. Like, listen, this is your house, but let's add those 3 homes if this is just something you're looking to make money on. Because if I build 3 units and I'm able to do that on their home, I am playing Monopoly. I just turned that single family home into 4 on 1 lot of simple fee estate, which is huge. And if I can derive income from those 3 and then sell my 4 home lot as 1, I just made a lot more money for that homeowner. So I think there's going to be an education disconnect, but that's where I love being a realtor, to be able to bring that into empowerment to our community and try to avoid some of those messes. But I definitely think until financing catches up, we're going to end up in some messes ahead that homeowners will be struggling, being stuck. Even right now, if you go build your house, and a lot of people, during 2021, they were all in a world of like, let's get off the grid, right? But here's the thing, like, you get completely off the grid, what happens to your house? No financing, cash only. Again, It pushed your price point way down. And so there's a lot to be learned in the next 5 years.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And you are right. It's about the financing, because if you turn that residential multi-units from 4 units to 12 units, then the buyers are going to have to come in with a commercial loan and put a minimum of at least 30% down. Is that what it is, Casey? About 30% down for commercial? What is it right now? 30 to 35% down?
Typically 25 to 30% down.
Okay.
And a distinction for those that you don't know, once we're 1 to 4 units, we can still finance as residential and owner occupied property. Once you get over 4 units, you're in the 5 unit plus space, or if you're in a mixed use space, that's when we kind of transition to commercial financing. So to the financing point, once you go over 5 units, it is going to be much more difficult to get financing if you do want to live in that property as your primary residence. But if you are selling it and you market it to investors, there's definitely a lot of financing available to buy those 5+ unit properties as an investor.
Wow, great. All very great insights. Thank you guys so much for giving us your feedback on this really interesting article and how that's affecting our city, and how, as professionals, you want to prepare your sellers and buyers for buying or selling into the city. So thank you all so much. So I'm excited to move on to the next segment of our show and talk about our deals. Let's move on and dive into our LEARNin Local Deals.
Hey everybody, once again, my name is Martin Magana, and just thanks again, Ruben and Chris, for having me back on the show. But before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Revolution Realty.
Are you an investor and you just flipped the property and now you can't sell it? Well, I have a loan for you. I have a lot of investors who had an exit strategy of flipping a home and selling it. Now they have to rechart their course, if they can, refinance into a DSCR loan, debt service coverage ratio loan. If you don't know what that is or would like some help getting out of a rut, I've been there fixing and flipping properties, and this market shifts and all of a sudden you can't sell it, so you got to do something. My name is Ruben at Revolution Realty Capital. Would love to help you out.
Thank you, Ruben. And again, if any of your lending needs, feel free to reach out to Ruben Austria at Revolution Capital, and I'll be happy to help you out. But yeah, for today, I'm super excited. We have an off-market development deal. So that's kind of the trend for today is development opportunities. This one's in Lincoln Park in the 92102 zip code. The actual property itself sits on a 10.5 basically lot. It's a 6-bed, 4.5 bath. It's made up of a duplex, being a 5.3 and a 1 and 1.5. It's 2 stories, and it was built in 1940. By itself, it's bringing in around 46 grand right now, but it could be easily renovated, added units, and getting up to 96 like pro forma. That being said, the highest and best use of this land isn't going to be renovating that duplex that's on there, but actually tearing it down and building a few more units, or even like we're going to talk about, up to 65 units. So the incentive for this land is that it's sitting on a opportunity zone. And it is zoned RM37, which basically means for every 1,000 square feet, you can have 1 unit. So on the actual lot, you can fit 10 units, but because it's in an opportunity zone, it's under the complete communities tier 3, which basically means that you're able to build upwards up to 7 floors. And overall, you're able to get between 52 and 65 units on this property. Being in the opportunity zone, it offers you a lot of tax break incentives to kind of build these out. And right across the street from the cul-de-sac is actually a recently completed 85 unit on a slightly bigger lot. But that being said, the whole pocket, it's the complete community zoning, basically makes it tax incentives. There's a lot of opportunity for development based on the zoning, and it's sitting in the development zone, which basically incentivizes you to build high density units in an urban or near transit environment. So all these combined make this an excellent opportunity for developers. And there's so many different exit strategies. That's kind of what I want to talk about with you guys today on what do you think you would do? Would you keep the duplex? Would you tear it down? Would you build up to 65? Or there's actually in our packet, we have a 52 unit plan that's in place. But I want to open it up to you guys. Like, what's your approach? What do you guys see for this?
This is exactly what we were talking about, right? With regard to these opportunities and being able to tear down these single family homes and then build up to it. I mean, if I was the investor, I'd want to maximize the potential for that property and build units up so that I can definitely increase my cash flow. And then once I've had it for a few years and gotten the cash flow, then I could do a 1031 exchange and buy more properties with this property. What do you think, Mike?
Oh, I'm right in alignment with you, Chris. I want to take full advantage of this opportunity and build as many units as I possibly can. The one question I would, as I looked at this deal and I saw the lot, I was just kind of going back in time to a similar deal I had saw in Chula Vista, where there was a huge lot, similar size, where it had a boarded up property with graffiti all over it. And then the remaining portion of the lot was just vacant. And, I called the sellers, tried to repeatedly trying to, see if I could find someone to make, or if I could make this deal happen. Wasn't able to, and they eventually sold it. But, I don't think they had it on their radar to sell it until I started giving them a call. So it's just a huge opportunity for whoever's able to take advantage of this. And like you mentioned, I think you should take, the best route that works for you as an investor.
Fantastic.
Yeah, opportunities like these don't come up too often. This one was listed a while ago, but they had issues with the tenants where the tenants just wouldn't leave, and it was like a whole fiasco. And we were finally able to get it before they go and relist it with a notice that the tenants will be leaving by the end of the month. So that all goes into the plan. And then, but no, yeah, Nicole, what are some of your thoughts on this property?
I mean, you had me at 6 bedrooms and 1/4 of an acre. And truly, like, looking at that lot from overhead, I'm going, okay, so like we move into that main house. There's so many people that make money off of rooms, right, and multiple different ways. And so I'm looking at that 6 bedroom house as kind of a cash cow, yeah, to be able to help carry the project and then demo that house, possibly last or keep it. Yeah. Because truly the way that lot's designed, I would totally make money. You got to carry a project. So you have all sorts of investors that will go through and they have the reserves to carry something like that. But if I'm working with my dreamer who's like, I want to build that generational wealth, and maybe they do sober living, and those 6 bedrooms are advantageous for them. They can make massive cash flow off of that main house and then develop their own lot to be able to make that money themselves, total sweat equity through their own investments. And then they're holding a great asset after that, whether they're renting all those rooms they just created out or they're holding it just for a future sell to be able to then provoke the next purchase. That's when we call you, Ruben, for that 1031 exchange, or Chris, you for that 1031 exchange. I'm sorry. Because I always call 1031 an exchange swap till you drop. Right. So like continue to defer your taxes as you continue to invest and continue to make wise decisions in your investment. I think it's great.
Yeah.
What happened in your kitchen?
Hey, really quickly, we had a comment from Mr. Carlsbad. He says the parking is going to be insane. So with regard to parking, can you actually build a parking lot on the first floor and then build up from there? Because the parking is definitely going to be an issue. Is that what developers are doing now to be able to at least provide for parking? Is provide the parking, or maybe dig into an underground parking situation? I know that's more costly, but that might solve some of the issues.
From what I know, right now there is 7 parking spaces in the lot, and part of the so being in the SDA opportunity zone, one of the breaks you get is on parking. That being said, right now it's typically you're looking at 1 parking space per 1,000 square feet. I know digging downwards to build parking structures is extremely expensive. I know someone who was building something in the middle of San Diego, and it went up to $2 million above what they wanted, purely because they wanted an underground structure. So I would actually open that up to you guys to see. I don't think you can build a parking structure below it, or if you could, it would be extremely expensive from what I've heard, but I actually don't really know much about that. So I'd actually open that up to you guys to see what do you guys know from your experience.
Casey.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't have a lot of experience with the parking structures, but I have the similar thoughts that it's not going to be worth it from a cost perspective. It's going to cost a lot more than the revenue and the value that it's going to bring. So I think most developers are going to shy away from doing anything like that and just take advantage of the zoning and the minimal parking that's required and maximize square footage because that's where they're really going to make their money.
Fantastic. Mike, what's your take on that issue with the parking?
Oh, I like what he said at the beginning, where you built the first level parking lots underneath, and then you build up from there. I think that's more ideal because you want to at least make the homeowners or the occupants have a space to park. You know, when they have guests, now that's a whole nother challenge. But I think it's ideal for at least the homeowners or the occupants to have a space to park, as opposed from having to walk a minimal distance from their property.
Any red flags on this property, Martin? Any things that we should be looking for? The structure, title, anything that we should be looking for before any of our viewers or any of these investors make an offer on this property?
The actual structure itself is fairly clean. It's just very outdated. In terms of title and all that, all of our title will come in clean. And if at any point during the process, so we have a process where we do non-refundable earnest money, but obviously you have to walk it. You have to be 100% set that is what you want. You've had your contractor, your lender inspect it. That being said, if at any point during the process a title issue arises, we fully refund that and we fully cancel the deal, because we're not going to push a property that has title issues ever. That's just we literally cannot, but 2, that's completely against what we stand for as a company. So that will never be an issue.
I have a question. Do we have any unpermitted build in that 6 bedrooms? Is anything added?
No, I believe it all is permitted. That being said, on permitting, while it all is permitted, being in this SDA zone, it kind of gives you the permitting itself, the process is actually sped up a little bit because they're trying to incentivize investors to start building up in these urban opportunity areas. So everything's permitted, and permitting will actually be a little faster than your typical permitting wait time of a few months. So
fantastic. Casey, did you
one
want
thing? Yeah, I was going to say one thing that Martin said that I really love about this property, and it also ties back to kind of Nicole's strategy of how to maximize profits on this, is that property is livable right now, right? From all the pictures I saw and from what Martin showed us, that would qualify for conventional financing right now. So if I was taking on this project, the strategy I would probably implement as an investor that doesn't want to live at the property is I'm going to buy that with more conventional financing up front. I may rent or buy some furniture, throw it in there, use it as a midterm rental while I'm applying for permits and waiting for permits to get approved. The 92102 zip code is right next to downtown San Diego. So you're going to not have much of an issue filling that thing up on a midterm rental. And then that helps you with holding costs while you're waiting for permits to get approved. Once the permits are approved, you can kind of refinance that conventional financing into more of a either fix and flip or a ground up construction loan, and then roll into the build from there. So it's just a great strategy. It's an easy way to get in with a low down payment, offset a lot of your holding costs while you're waiting for permits to get approved, which is normally one of the longest, most tedious processes as a developer because you can't really do anything till those get approved. And then you can quickly go into the build once they're ready to go and maximize the highest and best use of the property, which would be, building up and maximizing the amount of units you can get out of it.
Thanks.
I really think going off of that highest and best use here, like you guys said, especially Michael and Nicole brought up, is maybe that first floor being that parking structure. And then with the FAR incentives, you're able to go 6.5 times your actual lot size upwards. So you have around 68,000 total square feet that you can, that's like max allowable. So really building up 6 more stories of pure units. And then one other thing, I'm pretty sure there's a thing where it's like if 10% of the structure is like a 3-bedroom or larger, I believe you kind of are able to take out some of that parking and external storage like requirements that is regulated. So little things like that. But if there's any second thoughts, if not, I'll pass it back to you, Chris.
We're
Thank
in
you,
an
guys.
area where you have transit all around you. And so
Yeah.
I think the transit that's around you is going to help continue to carry things like this. In my own brain, I'm like, everyone's going to start building those parking garages, right? Where our investors that are going to be making that monthly money like they do in downtown, right? Downtown, they're everywhere. And if you have a home or a condo that doesn't have parking, you already know like $300 of your budget is paying for parking in a structure that's even 2 buildings down from where you live, right? So I think things like that we'll start seeing as well too in our dead commercial space, which since COVID, we have a lot of that. So maybe it's a great way to fill it.
Yep. Thank you all so much for your insights. My question would be, how long do you think that the permits would take? And if I was going to max it out at a 65-unit apartment complex, how long would it take, do you think, would the permits be approved?
I know typical permitting is anywhere from 2 to 6 months, depending on what you need. For something of this scale, I'm not quite sure itself, but that's something that I could definitely reach back out in the future, or maybe we can talk about in the next show, or unless one of you guys knows a little bit more about this larger scale permitting. Casey, maybe?
Yeah, I don't want to say I know a lot about the larger scale permitting. My expectation would have been around 6 months, especially being in a zone where they're going to try to push this through faster than usual. But if I was to buy this without knowing any better or consulting some other experts, I would anticipate about 6 months.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much for your insights. This was a great off-market deal. Martin, this is like one of those big deals. This is an opportunity to definitely maximize the highest and best use of this property. Just a lot of things to look for. You just have to work with a great realtor, great contractor, make sure that you know the permit process, and just understand how this is actually going to benefit you and the community as a whole. I like what Nicole says about turning it into a sober living base. I mean, there's so much money involved when you actually build this and into a 65 unit and turn it into a sober living community. But all great insights. Thank you guys all so much for your knowledge and your expertise on this. Let's move on to the next segment of our show and talk about our networking opportunities, our LEARNin Local Events.
Hey everybody, once again, Tracy Hassey, Tycor Escrow Services, and I am super excited to share one of my favorite parts of the show is the LEARNin Local Events. But before we do that, let's thank our sponsor, Framework Accounting.
Feeling overwhelmed with taxes and endless numbers? At Framework Accounting, we take the stress off your plate and bring clarity to your finances. From strategic tax planning that works to GAAP-compliant financial reporting, we've got you covered. Our streamlined bookkeeping and smart budgeting solutions give you the confidence to focus on what you do best, growing your business.
I'm a seasoned accountant, and I am a founder of my own company, Framework Accounting, and I'm helping individuals, families, and business owners make smart financial decisions, and especially when it comes to real estate. And I hope that I can help you guys break down affordability, tax implications, and anything about market that's financial related.
Framework Accounting. Simplifying the numbers, empowering your success.
Thank you again, Ellen, with Framework Accounting. We are so grateful to have you sponsoring the show, and you are amazing what you do. So, hey, everybody, grab your papers, grab your pens, and get ready for some action, because we're going to be showcasing some of the top events happening in San Diego County, and there are some hot ones. And it's a time where a lot of people from the show, from the podcast, we like to show up live, connect in person, and put deals together, because that is what this is really at the end of the day. We're putting deals together with the leaders in the industry, the vetted leaders. So let's take it away. What do we have here? So our first one, keys and connections. real estate and mortgage networking, unlock new opportunities in real estate and mortgages. And that is coming up next week, Tuesday, October 21st, 5 to 7 at Novo Brazil Brewery in downtown San Diego. The next one, we've got a home buyer happy hour, getting started, house hacking, ownership to investment, with, of course, complimentary charcuterie and drinks. So that is October 22nd, next Wednesday, 6:30 p.m., and that is in Mission Valley. And so our next one, we love our SDAR events. This is the Commercial Real Estate Association San Diego. They are hosting the quarterly commercial real estate pitch session. That is always a packed room, lots of deals being put together there. That is on Thursday, October 23rd at SDAR headquarters in Kearney Mesa. That is at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. right there at Ronson Court. So that is, I really highly recommend that one. That's a ton of fun. They're all a ton of fun. And another one on the Big Give. This is Friends of Downtown San Diego. It's the 2025 Scholarship Award Luncheon. They will be awarding over $31,000 scholarships to well-deserving students at San Diego City College. And that is on next Thursday, October 23rd, from noon to 2 p.m. at San Diego City College. And that is on Eventbrite as well. And just a reminder, all these events we're doing, they will be in the comments after the show. And I know we've got one more on that next Thursday evening. Drum roll, please. This is the LEARNin Local October Mixer, where we will be connecting, collaborating, and creating opportunities for everybody involved. And that is Tuesday, October 28th, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Park Hyatt Aviara Resort Golf Club and Spa in Carlsbad. That is where everybody, if they can, people from the podcast, people that are interested in being on the podcast, that is where we all get to connect in person and then take these connections to the next level and edify each other and have a ton of fun. So we look forward to seeing you all. And then we want to also remind you, a week from today, we have Crystal Hughes. She's extraordinary. She is going to be talking about on the San Diego LEARNin Local Live real estate insights, deals, and events in real time. Does affordable housing stand a chance in Coronado? So save the dates. Make sure if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any one of us here on the show. But once again, Tracy Hassey, Super Connector, Ticor Escrow Services here at your service. So what do you think? Any other events? Did I miss any? Anybody have an event that they want to share to wrap up events?
I don't have any, but make sure you go out to the PR park.
Actually, I have one more. I want to remind everybody, we've got the caravans, through the realtor broker caravans throughout San Diego County. They are Tuesday through Friday. You can go to the SDAR.com website, PSAR. There's private ones. There's North San Diego County Association of Real Estate. And all the realtor broker caravans will be there. And that is an excellent way to meet the people in the industry, people that are taking action, have homes on caravan, preview properties. So, and that's a great way for all of us to connect as well.
All right. Well, go ahead.
I have one event. Renovate San Diego. We're hosting a party golf event on October 30th. You should be able to go to renovatesandiego.com and get more details or just contact me. But yeah, October 30th, party golf event. It's to raise money for the Lucky Duck Foundation to support homeless, unhoused here in San Diego. So it's going to be a great event. It's for non-golfers. So if you're not used to playing golf or you have a high handicap, don't worry about it. We're just out there to have fun and raise money for the Lucky Duck Foundation.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much. Tracy, thank you so much for all these amazing events. And LEARNin Local Live will be present in a lot of these different events to network with all of you. If you're viewing this, you need to go to these different networking events that Tracy just talked about. Excited to see Crystal Hughes talk about affordable housing in Coronado. There's just so many opportunities to meet with a lot of these professionals at these networking events. So don't miss out. And Mike, thank you so much for that event, because I'm not a very good golfer. And I think that that's probably perfect for me.
Yes.
So thank you for that. And again, I wanted to remind everybody, all of our viewers, that we're here to connect, collaborate, and we create content with all of these subject matter experts. They are the experts in real estate. They work with buyers and sellers, and they know what's going on in the real estate market. So you need to be able to reach out to these professionals when you're buying real estate. Just reach out to them to get advice. That way they can guide you and help you become successful. But in order to be a part of this community, you have to go on school. And school allows you to learn more about LEARNin Local Live, how to participate, how we can spotlight you as an industry expert. And that way we can grow this amazing community, this live podcast. And again, this is the only podcast of this caliber in San Diego that addresses insights, off-market deals, and all these amazing events. So reach out to all of these professionals that are here on our show. But now, without further ado, I would like to move on and kick off the next segment of our show, our LEARNin Local Spotlight. All right, so this is our LEARNin Local Spotlight, where we spotlight our subject matter expert, Nicole. So Nicole, please tell us a little bit about you and your company.
I'm Nicole Turner. I'm here at South State Next Gen Realty. My team serves San Diego County, Riverside County as well. And I always say South State Next Gen Realty, we're the battleship, and our agents are the people around us that also have battleships with themselves as well, out there serving our community. Again, client stresses, always turning them into successes, and teamwork, making the dream work, is the forefront of every single day here. Truly, as an agent, we can live on little islands of called independent contractor world, or we can find great offices with great core values and find like-minded individuals to be able to really enjoy that culture. And I think that's what we have here at my office.
And Nicole, what do you think separates your real estate company from everyone else? What is that one thing or two things?
Really treating every client like the only client we have. One-on-one service is something that we excel at, and striving for excellence on a daily basis is my forefront, not only for myself, but also for everyone that works in my umbrella of South State Next Gen Realty with people in our counties. Giving that one-on-one service is so important right now, because not only the knowledge that we're able to serve our people with, I mean, if you turn on the news is just so not on point in today's world. A lot of times the news, you're hearing from like a United States of America perspective, not just here in San Diego County. And a lot of fear can be provoked by that. And fear doesn't always create success. Fear can actually cause minimal success in what people are able to do. So that one-on-one and the teamwork, making the dream work in our own world, is always something that continues to stimulate the success and our client success today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. It's kind of our heartbeat.
Perfect. Thank you, Nicole. And if you were to describe your ideal client, what would they look at like, and how do you connect with these people?
I think in our world, it's totally a cast net approach. So in our world, it's not a world of like, let's only work with this profession or this profession. I think since I've been licensed since 2006, one thing is I have actually absolutely realized is everyone needs help with housing. And so in our world, we have more of a cast net approach of being able to share our own successes, being able to be in people's lives, being able to look at them and say like, hey, we got this, you're going to be okay. And, sometimes we laugh because we go through some crazy negotiations and we succeed at such a high level. And then our client is just so thankful that we were there to help them through the fear, to communicate with them on the questions they didn't know the answer to think differently and strategize the need that they are looking to provide themselves. And everyone gets that one-on-one service. And I think that not only from my agent level, from our consumer level, continues to keep us extremely strong in 2025.
Fantastic. Great answers, Nicole. So how are you building your brand both online and in the local community?
Our online world is really just the successes that continue to build more successes in our world. Truly, we, as a brokerage, we not only impact here at our office, but every single agent out there is impacting their community. So if they're in Chula Vista, if they're in Bonita, if they're in Oceanside, those are all areas that they're out there impacting the consumers in that market. And truly, from an office level, we provide things like Hope Through Housing. I've always, since the beginning of the day, never called this brokerage one time a profit center. I don't believe in that. I actually believe to be the best consumer empowerment center in San Diego County and in Riverside County, because that's really the forefront of my day. It's not the profit, it's the success that are made by everyone around us that continue to keep our doors open. And I think having that as a healthy forefront continues to keep us great at negotiating, great at holding those top sales, and great at continuing to receive more clients because of what we do. Our Hope Through Housing empowerment session that we teach, that is something, ironically, we started going into like the prison ministry and actually teaching even at Donovan Prison, teaching people why real estate can change their lives. And then walking into like rehabs and different things like that to be able to give people hope. And then we just realized, like, well, building this, everybody needs hope. There wasn't really just one class of people that it sat with. It sat as, this can work for everybody. So that's one that's a lot of fun for us to teach. It makes you really think about what you're doing. I mean, I was that 18-year-old that didn't listen to anything my grandpa said, right? And I should have listened to him because he's right. I probably would be retired at this age, right? Grandpa, he had some good knowledge back then. But there's a lot of people like me that think that maybe it's too late or because of this or because of that. And so being able to enlighten people, one, to tell them that their past doesn't really affect their future, that is just such a light for us in our world and fun to give out. We also teach one called Fugly to Fabulous. Just completed one of our properties down on Commercial Street. And that's taking the ugliest home, I know you see them a lot, Martin, and turning them into totally fabulous. Sometimes we do them through a 1031, or not a 1031, I'm sorry, a 203K rehab loan. Just depends on the client. But Fugly to Fabulous is kind of allowing people to go in and play some HGTV. Because here's the reality, I can get great math on these transactions, right? We can buy that house for $525 that has the ARV of $875, put $100,000 into it, and now the owner is sitting in that equity position that the investor would have been there at, and continuing to build their exit strategy. The last one that we have too is our Level Up Your Legacy. I love this one. This one is all about working with those 17 to 25-year-olds to be able to help them not get in student debt, not get into things that happen in your young 20s. Anyone been there, or just me? Right? I bought a lot of different things like the RV and the quads and the this and the that. At my age, none of it did anything for me except cost me a lot of overhead. Right? And the return, nothing, right? The return was like, it's a can, you have to replace it and replace it and replace it. And when you're in real estate, you just realize, like, having a bag of money called your RV and then having to throw it away in 20 years, right? It becomes a stupidity cycle. And then you just get smarter, and then you learn how to best plant the seeds for your future. One other thing that we do is the Swing In with Self State. We work with a lot of local organizations to be able to give back. It's kind of a core value and a heart of our team. And this was our Swing In with Self State that we just got done. We just even had a dinosaur out there golfing with us because you could dress up. But being able to do this every year, this was our 6th annual tournament. And to be able to have people out there, the coolest part is affecting our warriors. We had 12 VIP warriors that got to golf with us. And even Junior, one of the individuals there, when he was transitioned from full service to a civilian, it's like going from this to this, right? Like going to a civilian from being a military person is a huge disconnect. It's a terrible mind world of like, I'm now this, I'm only a civilian. And there's a super high suicide rate in this world. And Junior, one of our very strong warriors, he's actually had his story that he shared, 3 suicide attempts. And now later continuing to impact the guys around him. And to see him out there swinging with them and just realizing this day is not about golf. It's about letting these people be with civilians like you and I, and just realizing like it's going to be okay. And so surrounding them with that community impact has just been something that's such a beautiful place in our world. And every year putting these things on, like it causes a lot of stress in life, right? But when we get through it and the next day, it's like, that was the best day ever. And then we're already planning, of course, for number 7. Because you can't stop. You just keep going.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you. And there is your spotlight for the week, Nicole. Thank you so much. And thank you all so much for being a part of this show. Casey, Mike, Martin, Tracy, Nicole, you've been all great. There are so many opportunities in San Diego, but also you got to keep up with what's going on, problems, issues, situations. You know, keep your sellers and buyers informed. And again, this is the only San Diego LEARNin Local Live in the state that addresses all these issues and provides all this information to all of you right here, right now, in real time. So thank you all so much for being a part of the show. Thank you for watching LEARNin Local Live, and we'll see you again at the next LEARNin Local Live.
Happy